Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you the join objects and split mesh operator. Basically a join objects joins the randomized meshes in a single mesh and then assigns those objects as vertex groups. So you can easily use that to select or isolate the a randomized mesh in their original form in edit mode and also split them in their original form as an object or individual objects using split mesh. And we're just going to model something simple to demonstrate this, um, like a crate auto mirror in the X, Y, and Z, adding some edge loop and play around with the topology. So the topology, of course, affects the randomization because the randomization depends on the configuration or the layout of the topology or is affected by it. And we're going to increase the depth, set the event offset to on, and play around with the shading. Okay, increase the subdivision just to get something or to get more detail. And use 5 here. 2, 3. Let's try and decrease the panel amount, get rid of the flat areas, and randomize. Okay, let's settle for this one. So for example, this is the first layer and selecting the randomized result. We're going to, I'm not going to use the pre-select add-on because you don't have this yet. So just select the faces that we want to detail further. And we can actually use the random operators that deal with geometry. You can use it in edit mode. I usually just switch to object mode in my videos because I gotten used to it, and that's what I was doing before I added the ability to use the random operators in edit mode, and also gets rid of the wireframe. But you can set it in the preferences where you can use something like Shift Alt Z to get to basically hide the overlay while still being in edit mode. But um, you can use it this way. So let's use the alt key event to emulate the or copy the behavior of the link flat faces operator in Blender. So that basically selects all the connected faces to the original selected faces. Alt and then press on the and click on the random operator, and then um, let's randomize. Okay, let's try and reduce the subdivision and then play around with the random seed. So deselect everything, Alt A, and then select another part for the other layer. Alt click, Alt A, then select the surface that you want to detail. Let's go to object mode and let's try this one here. So click just a single face and Alt click to select all the faces connected to it. The delimiter will be the sharp or the edges with sharp transitions or angles, not necessarily the edges that are marked sharp. So the settings for the angle you can find here. But when I release the pre-select add-on, you can just use the Shift F to select the faces and Control Shift F to, oops, Okay, I need to fix that. It it doesn't have the ability to work in edit mode. Okay, so that will be fixed in the release. So Control Shift F for deselect. And the preview drawing will only work in object mode and not in edit mode. Okay, so selecting this, then Alt click. Okay, now we're going to add some screw. Utility, Alt click. Utility, then panel screws, then Alt click. And basic segments. Let's just use the basic one. There we go. And probably to that's the radius. This is the margin. And let's get rid of the screws in the symmetry line. So uh, use mirror. Okay, there we go. And let's edit this. Use F9 to bring back the redo panel. And the shape, the depth, and then the bevel. The depth again. So something like 8. Okay. This is just an example. Actually, let's get rid of this and just try to select as many faces as we want. I'll click on the operator and just that. Let's try and make it smaller using the radius. And you can see here that this is reversed. This is because the margin has overlapped because these faces are thin. The margin basically just went past this and created a mess. So to fix that, just use limited dissolve to delimit the faces. Limit dissolve the faces, make it a single face so there's no overlap issues in the margin. And adjust this like that. Okay. Example, something like that. And let's pick something on the top. I'll click. Okay. And here as well. I'll click and use basic. Okay, so we have our screws. And now we can, when you look at the outliner, they are parented to the source mesh. So this is our panel here, and everything we did or added to that has been parented to it to make the outliner basically cleaner. So the parenting system has been out for a while now. So if you want to disable it, go to settings and toggle off uh, parent to source. Okay. And then we're going to select all these objects here. So because these are the only mesh in the scene, Shift G and select type. But if there's other you have other objects in the scene, you can just back select and do that. And then we're going to jo join them as a single object or merge them as a single object using join objects. This is not Boolean uh, union. This is basically just using Control J, but with the added effect of adding the joined objects as vertex groups or assigning them to vertex groups so you can select their original shape and form in the edit mode. So for example, if we just join this here, this random panels here and random panel result from before to the source mesh underneath, Then Blender, of course, cannot remember. This is separate islands, of course, so it loses its identity and becomes just this separate set of faces in the join operation from the join operation. But with join objects, let's so the in the select it shows you the selected objects, and basically this the script shows you the source mesh. I forgot if it filters out by way of topology or just by name, but most of the time it just shows you the source mesh. So cube is right. Okay. And when we go to vertex group here, I don't know if I can, here we go. So our cube, our source mesh, select, that's the one there, and our cube panel, you can see that this is the second randomized um, object that we did, and this one here, one, it remembers all the objects, this one, Bruce as well, here, and this one here. Okay. Oh, I didn't select. I didn't deselect. Okay. So to make it easier for you to select without going here to select the objects based on vertex group they are in, uh, and avoid, of course, going into this menu, you can just go to vertex select mode. That's number one, and select a vert. For example, here, and Shift G to use the select similar menu, and then vertex group. This only works, this select similar attribute only appears in vertex select mode, not in edit mode. In edit mode, for example, doesn't show up. It has different attributes for select similar. And same with faces, number three. So number two is edge, number three is face selection mode. And you can see that the vertex group doesn't appear here. So, but you can select the face and then switch to vertex mode and then Shift G and vertex group. So it selects all that. Or you can just go to or stay in vertex mode and use this feature. So, for example, you want to isolate an area and create additional details for it without affecting the other faces in the or face groups in the mesh. So, for example, this one, Shift G, select Shift H just to hide, isolate them, or hide the unselected objects. Then Shift G here in this face, and for example, you will select the faces with the same perimeter. Area, select area equal or less. There we go. Select about polygon size. There we go. And it selects all those faces. And for example, you want to add this kind of detail just for this rabbits here. You can do that. Alt H to select. Uh, when you want to show the faces again that are hidden, press Alt H. And if you go to the objects are then shown or the faces are then shown and then they're selected, but if you don't want them selected, press the F9 half key after the operation and toggle out select. There you have it. So again, Shift G, select a vert using vertex select mode. Select all the faces that belong to that particular vertex. Okay. So the advantage of this is now you can let's quickly color this or add a basic color island. And for example, you finish the model, you want to let's add some basic materials to it. Arc flow metal and render. Okay, let's try another HDRI. Okay, this is good. And then um, you can assign this as an asset and drag and drop it to your scene as a single mesh using the asset browser. And if you want to separate it, and the good thing about this is that if you don't want uh, that part anymore, you can just select it, of course, and delete it. And if you want to separate them back again, you can use the split mesh. So basically, this splits the mesh based on the vertex group assignment and uses the vertex group name as their object name once they are separated. Okay, let's try it. Shift. I don't think I need to select anything. Extras, split mesh, or so split from the cube source, and we have this. So, but of course, it deleted the vertex group, the vertex color data, but you can just use the vertex color again on the. This works on multiple selected meshes. So they are back. Look at that. Because of the vertex group, the script knows how to separate them correctly. And there we go. So they're now their own separate objects again. So that's the join mesh and split mesh. The merge object is using Boolean, and this will be for another video. I don't know if I have to deprecate this or I don't know. I've already deprecated some operators because of the pre-select, like the filter select, and also the what's that operator called? The one that um, uses data transfer to get rid of the banding. I've also deprecated that because we now have smooth sharp to get rid of the banding. And this is of course much better than using the data transfer because sometimes the data transfer doesn't work all the time. This works most of the time. Okay. So again, select everything and or extras, join objects, join the cube. Now there's like a single object again with vertex groups with the original uh, joined objects or merge objects assigned to vertex groups. With our panel, we go. And let's just fix the shader. Reduce the saturation of this threshold. And use the intensity of the this one and also the size. This is good. And let's use the vertex color. Then assign a color mix node to control its intensity using overlay, set this to 1. And as you make the B color darker, you also affect the intensity of the values of the color of the vertex color. And I think, yeah. And also, this since this is symmetrical, we can of course establish the mirror X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter. The vertex group is not interrupted, of course. Okay. Now all you have to do is collapse some edges that aren't necessary. So, oh, you can we can collapse the angular parts and avoid collapsing the rivets to keep their form. So selecting them, the vertex group, hide them, and selecting everything, and then let it dissolve. Okay. Oh, you can limit dissolve, but as you can see, it affected the shading, or you can just collapse the edges that aren't needed to maintain the form of the design. Of course, edges like this is needed to uh, maintain the form of the design. I'm talking about this ones here that ends uh, in a particular vertex point that is needed to maintain the overall shape of the model. And yeah, basically, or you can, I think, yeah, you can use pre-select once it's out and select limit dissolve. So you can add edge slopes back again to maintain the shading. And basically that is what you will do. Basically, you are trying to lighten the object for the uh, so you can use it for your scene and as a background asset. Like for example, this will be sitting on a corner, just being a sci-fi crate, so something like that. You can add decals and font decals to make the style, of course, much more interesting. Yeah. So that is it. That is the join objects and split mesh. So basically, makes it easier for you to manage the joined objects as their original form in the edit mode, and also split them back again as individual objects in their original shape and design. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, use the comment section or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.